On the road to a one world order. We're there. We've been talking about this. I've been talking about it, many of you too, for at least in my case, over 14 years now, off and on YouTube. Never knowing timelines or exactly when this was all going to happen, but we all understood that we were in that season of the end. And the end game is becoming very, very clear now. I remember when we first started learning about the Great Reset about a year ago. That was the big one. It's like, oh, okay, there it is. Started looking into it and we realized how this really is going to pull everything together. It's going to level everything out so the system can rise from the ashes like a phoenix. And its arms are going to stretch everywhere into every aspect of our lives. These are crazy times, but they're exciting times. And we have to be really careful because everything out there in media is set to trigger us or to turn us against each other or to make us depressed, sad, or want to take our own lives. And we're seeing that. What I do with my KJ's What Happened shows is we're seeing a lot of people who've been programmed and who are acting out. They've been programmed by this beast system. And the programming is deep. I'm always working on videos, but I was working on this one in particular, and so much stuff started coming in. I just started losing focus. And when I get that way, I feel like it's easier just to take everything, put it together, and just do a live show. It's also more fun because you guys are engaged. You can bring you guys in. We can look at this stuff together and just talk about it because I've got some pretty wild stuff to show you. And around here, we look at some pretty wild stuff sometimes. So keep an open mind and you'll understand what I mean when we get to it. But I've got quite a bit to show you. So let me just welcome you here. I'm KJ, by the way, if you're new here. My name's KJ. I run this channel, The Scariest Movie Ever. Been here for over 10 years now. Still going strong. It's taken its lumps, but hey, I'm still here. That's a lot, Dan. That's a lot. A lot of people can't say that these days. A lot of people have been wiped out, and that's still happening. But while we're here, I enjoy doing these shows. I enjoy doing my videos, enjoy doing all of it. So just thank you for those who support and for those who pray. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here today. I hope you're doing all right out there. We're going to have some fun today. And big shout out, as always, to my moderators out there and to my Patreon and PayPal supporters, guys. Thank you so very much. All right. So looks like we got a few minutes in. There we go. Got some people crowding in here. Let's go ahead and jump in. Like I said, it's just going to be jumping around from bit to bit. As you can see, I've got quite a few things I want to share with you, and we'll just have some fun with it, man. So here's something I wanted to share. So I got several things to share about Bo Jiden, and this is one, and we know his Build Back Better, program. We've been seeing the Build Back Better programming and all kinds of things over the last year. Even Lego is going to build the world back better. It's like their new campaign. So this is a part of that beast system programming. Even if you look at, I've noticed, if you look at the Build Back Better with small b's, you could even say it looks like a 666, just saying. And that may sound nuts, but they put a Baphomet on the Democrat logo for the 2020. So it's not crazy to think that these three little b's are also a 666. So we're dealing with the occult, hidden in plain sight. And we know them by the kind of symbols they use. I really don't like that Q tried to take that. That group Q was always talking about, you'll know them by their symbols. It's like, dude, we've been talking about that forever. But of course, that's what these psyops do. So the controlled opposition throws a little truth in, and then with a couple of turds, and there you go. Let's check this out, though. This is what being programmed looks like. Leaders from around the world using Biden's slogan.
It's a very pertinent question to ask, how do we build back better?
To build back better or whatever.
We have a chance to reset the clock and build back better than before.
To build back better than before.
Remember the terrible damage of COVID as we try to build back from this global pandemic.
Joe Biden calls it build back better.
Build back better.
Building back better.
To do things differently. To build back better.
We're going to build it back better.
and build it back better.
To my plan to build back better.
Start taking all the problems that have been created in education, mental health, and start to build back in a positive way.
I have launched a booklet called Build Back Better, written after coronavirus.
It's about building this country back better.
Growing conspiracy following it. It is called the Great Reset.
Unprecedented opportunity to rethink and reset the ways in which we live.
The great opportunity for reset.
The theory even calls Mr. Biden's campaign slogan, Build Back Better, a front for the conspiracy.
Build back better.
Building back better our economy.
Build back better.
All elements of the Great Reset are fundamental to building the future we need. This pandemic has provided an opportunity for a reset.
It's a big effort to, some would say, to build back better. We would say to really have a great reset.
Conspiracy, conspiracy.
Yep. That made me think of something. I'm going to see if I can't. I'll just bring up another window and I'll look for this here. Okay, hopefully this is what I'm looking for. Oh, here it is. See if I can find the clip there. Watch this. Now, look, this goes back to the idea. We've talked about it many times before about the potential of Obama being the ultimate Antichrist. There's also the Maitreya, which is a possibility. I did the Jester Jesus video and some other videos on the Maitreya, who looks like the Christ figure that we've all seen, you know, on imagery for years. And there's a lot of interesting things about Maitreya. So I've covered that extensively throughout the years. But there are some different possibilities. I also look at this alien thing, the fallen aliens, fallen angels, the demons, the fake alien invasion. What part that might play and everything coming up as well. And I just did a video on that, a little music video a couple days ago. So hopefully you had a chance to check that out. Okay, all that aside, this is interesting though. Listen to what Obama says, and it almost makes me think, hey, maybe this is what's exactly happening right now. And he's speaking about Biden, and he just said this a couple months ago. This just came out.
We missed you.
Thank you.
These last 4 years. Did you miss you? Did you ever look at something going on in the news and go, you know what the situation needs? So Barack Obama.
Yeah, I've said this before. People would ask me, knowing what you know now, do you wish like you had a third term? And I used to say, you know what? If I could make an arrangement where I had a stand-in, a front man or front woman, and they had an earpiece in, and I was just in my basement in my sweats, looking through the stuff, and then I could sort of deliver the lines, but somebody else was doing all the talking and ceremony.
How happy he gets. Look at this.
Woman, and they had an earpiece in, and I was just in my basement in my sweats, looking through the stuff, and then I could sort of deliver the lines, but somebody else was doing all the talking and ceremony. I'd be fine with that because I found the work fascinating.
That was really the main part I wanted you to hear. But that, you know, again, maybe. Okay, I'm just throwing it out there as a possibility. Maybe. They do have to tell us what they're doing. They have to tell us their plans, and they do it in different ways. And what if that right there was full-on disclosure of exactly what's happening? Because, as we know, Bo Biden can barely function. All right, let's go down here. Got that one. Okay, this is pretty funny, but it's also in line with a lot of the things that we cover around here. This is some pretty weird shape-shifting going on live TV, and this is just, it sounds like just a regular couple watching this, and they're tripping out. And it's Bo Biden when he was at the Lincoln Memorial, right after he signed the EO of a mandate masks, and he's not wearing his. But that was the story. Oh, he wasn't wearing his mask. But look at him, okay? Look at this.
Check this shit out. It says Biden maskless last night.
There are a couple of people. There's some dirge-like music, and there's Joe Nomad. He looks a little dumbfounded, like he has no idea what he's looking at. Sorry, I don't mean to be mean, but he does look a little, I don't know, out of his element.
Yeah, he does. And of course, he knows that the media can, cover for him, and that they'll really say that really this is no big deal whatsoever. It fell to Peter Ducey to ask about this.
This is live on Newsmax right now.
With St. Fauci about
what the fuck is that?
He doesn't have to listen to Donald Trump anymore, even though Anthony Fauci.
The girl said, "Looks like an alien." It also looks like a doll, doesn't it?
But he does look a little, I don't know, out of his element.
Yeah, he does. And of course, he knows that the media can, cover for him, and that they'll really say that really this is no big deal whatsoever. It fell to Peter Ducey to ask about this.
This is live on Newsmax right now.
With St. Fauci about
what the fuck is that?
But seriously, good question. Good question. This clip is hard to find, actually. I'll show you where you can find it. It's Biden maskless and looks dumbfounded by Lincoln Memorial. I'd found it one other place, and by the time I went back to get it for this show last night, I was getting stuff together. It was gone, like it'd been removed. So luckily, I stumbled on this one. When I find these types, I save them, especially, in the current climate we're in, and this particular subject right here. So, it's good to kind of save some of the cool ones when you find them. But how about that, huh? How about that? Looks like an alien or a doll or a dummy or something.
Cover for him, and that they'll really say that really this is no big deal whatsoever. It fell to Peter Ducey to ask about this.
This is live on Newsmax right now.
With St. Fauci about
what the fuck is that?
He doesn't have to listen to Donald Trump anymore, even though.
Okay, now, if you thought that was crazy and weird, buckle up. This right here is one of the. I love the strange captures, of course. I've been covering that stuff for years when people capture really interesting things. And, we look into them. Sometimes things turn out to be, they can be explained. Occam's razor, we figure, okay, well, it turns out it was that. And that's okay, and we move on, But sometimes these things aren't explained. Like the video I did years ago on Oprah's eyes changing whenever Tom Cruise was on stage with her, and her whole face shifted. And it only happened within a second, just before the camera cut away. Y'all may have seen that. Look up Oprah Winfrey on my channel. I think it's the only video I've ever done on her. I've talked about her in other videos, but check that out. And those are the type I'm always looking for. Is really wild. There's also this interesting. It looked like a white dragon type creature caught on the Japanese tsunami from many years ago when they had the tsunami out there. Some of you may remember that, and that's still up on the channel too. But that was a good one, crazy one. And then you saw it jumping into some window, like after it jumped out of the water. It was crazy, but I love those. I love the really weird ones. So anyway, okay, I'm rambling too much about the weird ones. Well, this is one of them, and let me explain a few things. What this guy believes he's captured, and he'll be talking about it too here on the video. This is on BitChute, on Official Mag Bitter Truth Official YouTube channel. All right, and this proves 100% that President Bo Biden is not a human being, it says. They got caught. It's very interesting, okay? So he believes he's captured literally a serpent around the wrist of Biden. Like it looks like there's a serpent wrapped around his wrist during this at one point. And you'll even see it move, like it ducks away and everything. Some people I've seen saying, oh no, it was just a microphone. And then the first question I have is, why would anybody have a mic? Now, yeah, of course they have mics that can be on your cuff or, like worn around your wrist. But why would any of these guys need anything like that when they have a freaking huge microphone right in front of their face? So I don't buy the microphone thing necessarily. But let's just play this out, and I'll show you the footage, and you decide for yourself. Oops. Make this bigger.
Shout out to Laurie and YouTube doing video. Yeah, true channel, but she the one who break this one down for what it is and get into it, basically. But I'm gonna have to go ahead and get a look at this shit right here and take a look at it and see. Because if you see Joe Biden right here, this is not a fake video. This is a real video right here from C-SPAN with the damn debate with Joe Biden and Donald Trump. And look at this shit right here. Come out of the fucking Joe Biden right there. Come out of his suit. And what he did, he gonna shake it back down in right there. Take a look, because you have to pay attention right here. I'm gonna break it all the way down. Got some photos I'm gonna show of it. But let's look right here and see what it is. Take a look. Them shit is alive. That shit is alive. He kind of look like he's shaking his hand a little bit, but them shits is alive. What is that, people? These are not human beings. What's wrong with you? Look at this person. That's not a human being, people. I already told you. A lot of times I look at them and be like, damn, you have to be wearing a mask or something. Why would you have this shit around your eyes? That's not how people get old and look. This is a dumb shit right here, people. Look at his jaw. There's no wrinkle on the jaw. No skin hanging. But when you get to his eyes right there, it look kind of funny. These are not human beings. Take a look, people. What is this? Come out of his arms right there. Now take a look, people. I kind of slow it down a little bit. Take a look at what they're going to happen to them. Watch this. Those are not antennas, people. Wow, you would have think it's some wires or something, but no. No, people, them shit look like live little serpents. It kind of look like a damn cobra right there. The small little cobra looking head. And then it fell back down, people. This is a real shit. Wow. So this character, I already told you, people, why he holding the devil horns right there. These are not human beings they put to run the country, people. Wow, you already know this one. This is not a human being either. That's what you need to know, people. They're not humans. Wow, so those are the ones who run in this fucking world. That's how you get it right there, people. What is that coming out of his clothing? You never get it, people. That's a human being. Wow, go back.
How about that, huh? Let's keep watching.
That's not a human being. Those are the ones they use to run the world and the masses right there in plain sight.
Tears.
What do you think this is, people? Wow. Let's go back to his hands. Take a look at this right here, people. Wow. What is those things that go back in the jacket? Wow, people. That's not wires. He hold his hand like that. They come up. They got fuck up and show up, people. Right there. That's not a human being. The people that's running the country is not a real human being, people. Wow, what is these creatures that so-called leading the masses? Some tenants right there coming from the sleeves, people. And they go back in. So fallen angels right there in the fucking flesh. This is what they give you right here for the president of the country. You see that all world leaders is probably one of these right here. You'll never get it, people. Fallen angel bloodline right here in plain sight.
Tears.
What you think? It's no trick, people. There you go. It come out and go back in the sleeve real fast. Wow, they realize that the people gonna see it. There you go right there, people. That's not wires. What is that? It's tenants, not antennas. That's tenants right there, people. This is a creature right here running the country. They call Joe Biden.
There you go, man. What do you think? Go look it up. Watch it a few times. Share it with your friends. Try to figure it out. But if it is a little serpent, which I feel it could be, that's certainly not everyone's going to have the eyes to understand that kind of thing or the ears to hear. We get that. But I've been saying for years, the veil's lifting, stranger things are coming in, and they have been. And perhaps this is one of the best examples I've seen. But you can check it out if you like over on BitChute. All right, I think that's a good one. What else we got here? Let me see if I have some more. Let me see. Got a lot of that stuff. Space Needle. Yeah, I think that's okay. That's that first part I'm good with. Now let's move on. Just mainly some headlines. I want to show you how much they're setting up the aliens are coming narrative. Oh, the aliens are out there. This one's a little bit older. It's from May 5th of 2020, but Japan's drawing up plans for potential UFO encounters. This is from July 2020. Pentagon has a lot more UFO evidence, which remains highly classified, says former head of AATIP. Dramatic surge in UFO sightings in New York State stirs fears of looming alien invasion. And that's fairly new, I believe. Where's the date on that? 9. So September, from September of 2020. Harry Reid is from October 2020. U.S. government withholding evidence of UFOs, which may have interfered with American weapons. And I thought that was interesting. Harry Reid's he's a famous politician in America. He's been around forever, this guy. I'm no fan, but whatever. Harry Reid is a well-known individual. Him coming out talking about this is a big deal. In the mainstream, it's a big deal. And I thought it was interesting him talking about how they've interfered with weapons, because that's been a so-called quote-unquote conspiracy theory for years. There's been footage of it as well. It looks like at times UFOs shooting down missiles. You've seen that? Following airplanes and things like this. But that's been one of those stories out there for a really long time. Now here's Harry Reid giving it some mainstream cred. But it's all building to the same thing. I see all this as a soft disclosure. This is from December 2020. Leaked Pentagon UFO picture shows mysterious silver cube hovering near U.S. Air Force pilot. Can't really see it that well. Excuse me. But there you go. Pretty good shot. More soft disclosure, right? Just preparing the masses. Tucker Carlson from December 2020 talks underwater UFOs. We've never imagined something like that. Fox is filled with soft disclosure. I've shown a lot of examples of that. Okay, let's go ahead and watch a little.
A new report from American intelligence confirms something that's been rumored for a while. Late last year, a U.S. Navy F-A-18 fighter jet took a very clear photograph on a personal phone of a triangle-shaped unidentified aerial phenomenon. That vehicle, whatever it was, appeared to be operating with a propulsion system that generated no visible exhaust. Hard to see how that could happen. The sighting likely places the UFO near a U.S. nuclear-powered aircraft carrier. That shouldn't be surprising because a string of UFO sightings have involved nuclear reactors and warheads. That same report also goes into some detail on underwater UFOs, which behave in ways that science can't explain. Tom Rogan has been following all of this quite carefully for some time. He's a columnist for the Washington Examiner. We're happy to have him on tonight. Tom, thanks for coming on. First, tell us about the sighting in late 2019.
Yeah, good to be with you, Tucker, and thanks for covering this, because not enough journalists, I think, do. The late 2019 incident essentially involved a U.S. carrier strike group, as with the incident 2004 and 15, doing its workups on pre-deployment, preparing to go abroad and do the missions that the Navy are assigned. And the pilots are flying off the coast, off the Atlantic seaboard, and see essentially a black triangle, white sort of indicator lights on its peripheral tips coming out of the water very quickly, and then accelerating at extremely high speed at about a 90-degree angle. And one of the pilots took a photo, very good photo, I'm told, by multiple sources on his iPhone. And myself and Tim McMillan, who really led the charge in this investigation, have sort of tied it down. So I think the real point of note on this is that this phenomenon, whatever it is, continues to occur.
All right, I'm not going to play the whole thing, but because really the UFO bits I'm showing you here, it's a small part. I just wanted to show you a bit of the narrative coming out. We also had the story about a month and a half ago, is on Fox, where the Pentagon admitted that we have off-world vehicles and off-world tools. So more of that soft disclosure, right? More of that just coming out like this. We're not alone. Ex-CIA Director John Brennan, who played a big role in the Russiagate stuff against the President T. Ex-CIA Director John Brennan says Tic Tac UFO seen near USS Nimitz could be a different life form. Right. More of that. Setting the narrative. COVID-19 bill started a 180-day countdown for UFO disclosures. This from December 2020.
What's the new nugget that's kind of interesting to those who pay attention to UFOs?
Well, it's the fact that embedded in this Omni Act that's now been signed is the Intelligence Authorization Act for fiscal year 2021. And that has in it language on UFOs. And specifically, or should I say UAP, as the phenomenon is known within government, unidentified aerial phenomena. And specifically, there is a request from the Senate Intelligence Committee to the Director of National Intelligence that a report be produced about the phenomenon within 180 days of enactment. So the clock is ticking.
Yeah, and this is in regards to, from what I understand, the Pentagon's new UFO task force. A task force was essentially put together and announced officially.
Almost all of this in 2020.
And as you mentioned earlier, one of the specific details about this report is that it's due within 180 days of its inception.
All right, that's the basic point I wanted to get across there. And that's on New York Post. Another one on New York Post. Another one from December 2020. And you see how it's all... We know we're encountering a pandemic. It was a plan. So I'm always looking for the next steps, the next levels. And for years, whistleblowers have talked to us about this fake alien invasion. Bill Cooper even mentioned things about it many years ago. But many people have talked about this fake alien invasion, how they could do it. I'll show you something here in a little bit about that. You know, maybe it'll be a mix. Maybe it'll be actually some of the fallen, some of those dimensional beings mixed in with some holograms. I don't know exactly how it's all going to play out, but I definitely see it. I see the narrative here clearly. All of this during 2020, the most chaotic year in probably the world history. Well, not world history, but certainly American history. Most chaotic year ever. And more stories about the UFOs coming. New York City UFO sightings in 2020 are up 283% from 2018, right? I always tell y'all there's so many sightings. I can't even get to all of them. So I just try to show you guys the best ones. I'll show you a few more headlines on this. Oops. It's from December 31st. 2020, a year of UFO news almost too strange to believe. Also on Fox News again. I'm going to come back to this. Okay, so here's another one. Navy UFO patent documents talk of space-time modification weapon, detail experimental testing. And that's from 17 hours ago. So we see where that's heading. This one right here I thought we could kind of watch together. This was the Space Needle show. It took place in Seattle, Washington. It's called The Space Needle. And this whole show, of course, it was all computer generated. It was all online or on TV. And put a clip in a video I did recently where I showed you guys a guy watching this take place. He watched the countdown from home, and in the background through this window, you could see the Space Needle where it's just dead, nothing going on. And on TV, you saw all this play out. Well, there's some interesting things going on inside of this, so I figured we could watch some of this together. And I've watched the whole thing just once, and I noticed a few things, but I figured maybe we'll watch it together and just kind of see what we can come up with here. All right, it's the DNA. Iron and clay. And this one was the one, I think that's where you see, let me see. So right here, it's coming in. You get, it looks like the alien head. See? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inside a cube. You could say that might be the, that's a pretty obvious V on V there, or a Masonic symbol. It's male and female. Masonic logo. The butterfly. Or is that the creatures from the pit? Probably a butterfly. Mind control anyway. It's probably why I didn't do a video on this. I didn't see a whole lot in it when I first watched it that I could really pull from. It's like 10 minutes long. There's the UFO stuff. Maybe. I think there is some UFO stuff in here. Two triangles connected at the base. As above, so below. Lotus. Regeneration. Renewal. All right, I think we're good with this. Not a whole lot to see here. You can watch the whole thing if you want. Maybe you guys can find something that's worthy in there, but I don't really see anything. Here we go. This right here is, this is a narrator, and this is from an old documentary. It's a narrator that was reading from the autobiography of Joseph Spencer, whose claim to fame is that he was, if not the original, one of the original Men in Black. And right around the time of his deathbed, he was close to the end of his life, put all this information out. Of course, oh, sure, okay, you bought that, whatever, KJ. Well, man, there's some really interesting stuff in here, and it's been around for a long time. But one of the bits has to do with Project Bluebeam. And that's a clip I put in my music video a few days ago. But the other clip has to do with what we're encountering right now with the crown virus. So let me see if I can find that part. The whole bit's actually really interesting, what he has to say here. Let's see.
Short-term technologies, giant leap forward, silicon chips, fiber optics, and lasers for the remainder of their lives. The children go.
Hey, here we go.
And get ready for this. In 1994, the World Population Summit in Cairo, Egypt, had 160 nations participate, where they all agreed that the human population was out of control and must be stopped because the world is running out of resources. An agreement was formed that would mandate the reduction of humans from 6 billion to 800 billion by the year 2030. This meant finding a method or methods to wipe out nearly 95% of the population. Solutions were discovered, investigated, tested, then created, and have been in full force since. The procedures have been inflicted onto the human race are as follows. 1. Toxic levels of chemically enhanced fluoride have been secretly added to our drinking water over the last 20 years in every city and community on the planet. I personally oversaw the delivery of fluoride barrels to Denver, Chicago, Tampa, and Minneapolis water departments. The adverse effects of fluoride poisoning to the human body are numerous and debilitating. The effects to children is damage to their neurological development, among other serious ailments. 2. Man-made viruses and diseases. The AIDS virus, which was a designer byproduct of the American Disease Institute, was distributed through vaccines to the public in 1980. Instituted as a preliminary population control tactic, the results were successful and led to more lab-produced viruses that have since been unleashed onto the public.
What's this?
Among those is the development of a mutated version of the common flu to replicate the 1918 influenza pandemic that killed 40 million people. The first strain of this new flu virus will be released to the public in late 2017. So if we see a flu outbreak in the late 2017 or early 2018 that's killing people, we'll know this is true.
You got to hear that again.
Where they all agreed that the youth were discovered, investigated, tested, then created, and have been in full force since. The procedures have been inflicted onto the human race are as follows. 1. Toxic levels of chemically enhanced fluoride have been secretly added to our drinking water. Virus, which was a designer byproduct of the American Disease Institute, was distributed through vaccines to the public in 1980. Instituted as a preliminary population control tactic, the results were successful and led to more lab-produced viruses that have since been unleashed onto the public. Among those is the development of a mutated version of the common flu to replicate the 1918 influenza pandemic that killed 40 million people. The first strain of this new flu virus will be released to the public in late 2017. So if we see a flu outbreak in the late 2017 or early 2018 that's killing people, we'll know this is true. Right.
Okay. Now, considering what he just said, I'm going to play this clip for you here. This is the little less than 2-minute clip I put in my music video recently, but it's still worthy of listening to again because he's talking about a fake alien invasion. This was in the book as well.
1,000 feet up in the sky. How would anyone know that that was an illusion? The Phoenix Lights craft, witnessed by 10,000 people, was the first grand-scale skybeam test upon the public. It succeeded beyond expectations. In October 1938, Orson Welles unleashed his War of the Worlds radio broadcast to the American public. It was so realistically portrayed, vast portions of the population went into panic. Terrified citizens scrambled to evacuate their cities in droves. America had been easily tricked by very simple means. To amplify this response, those who are truly in power of not only our country, but all the countries on the planet, and who are the true purveyors of the depopulation process, have formulated the final stage of their sinister plan. In the year 2024, a global event will alter the course of mankind's future. The world will stand witness to a massive alien invasion. Thousands of projected holographic alien warships will blanket the skies, sending people into a global panic. Real military crafts within the holograms will inflict actual damage to the surrounding areas to sell the gimmick. And as a result of the ensuing human chaos, a one-world government will immediately form without any resistance from the people. They will be the new world order. Once this happens, we as a people will be doomed to enslavement and accelerated depopulation.
Oof, right? So if you want to look up more on Joseph Spencer, there he is. Just look up Joseph Spencer. You can find the book. I found PDF online, so you can maybe find that if you want to read a little bit. But I find it very, very interesting stuff. Things to think about. Remember this right here, this Joker. And this guy turned out to be a total, he's an actor. He's actually an actor. And he's been seen at a lot of the BL plus M riots, of course. And the media really focused on him. He got a lot of play, right? Oh, look at this scary guy. You know, as the leader of the revolt at the Capitol. I mean, they really poured it on with this guy. But he was a total plant. But even more so, it's just the symbolism there with this guy that's interesting, I think. The beast, right? You got the beast, but there's more. Where is that? There it is. Okay. Well, this is the Illuminati card game. If you've never heard of this, you're really missing out. This is one of the most obvious and really well-known examples of predictive programming or lesser magic. And even Steve, what is his name? Steve Rogers or Steve Niles? I can't remember the name of the guy that created the game. It's an actual card game. But he really was, he really did talk to the FBI or CIA, one of the two. He actually talks about it just before he had made this game. Make of that what you will, but when you start looking into the game, you'll see that so many of the cards that are in there have actually taken place. Lots of really big events, to say the least. I think this is what I was looking for. There it is. This is on a guy's YouTube channel, Verdad Occulta. I've been subscribed to him for a long time. He always has some really weird stuff on here too. But here's a good catch he made. One of the Illuminati card game cards is called, I think it's called Shock Jock. Yeah, it's Shock Jocks. It's that guy right there. See? And then there's the guy with the horns. There's Shock Jock. And he even has similar tattoos, which is interesting. See? This is him, of course, without his horns on. So an interesting catch, I think, from this guy. Again, this may be new to you. Okay, yeah. Okay. So a kid's game is predicting the future. Well, that's how this occult stuff works. And it's put into place like that, to where if you don't understand what you're looking for, what you're looking at, it is going to seem like nonsense. And it's going to seem stupid to you. You know, somebody brings it up to you. But this is a real thing. It's lesser magic. It's predictive programming. Look up the Illuminati card game. Perhaps this is an example. It's interesting. They even have like a Lady Gaga card in there, and Hillary Clinton, and get an Alex Jones in there, and all kinds. Anyway, thought I'd share that one real quick. Also reminded me of this guy from the Gothard Tunnel opening, which was an occult ritual in the public. And he was all about ushering in the AC, Antichrist, in the NWO. And okay, that one. Let's go back. We already looked at this card game. A couple more I just want to throw out there. Interesting bits about 2021, the road ahead. Why did hundreds of CEOs resign just before the world started going absolutely crazy? And that's from March 2020. It's from February 2020. Multiple CEOs stepped down today. Disney, MasterCard, Salesforce, Uber Eats. We covered that back when it was happening, but there's lots of major CEOs stepping down in 2020. And then you got stuff like this. Why are all these world leaders suddenly stepping down? This is from January 2nd, 2021. Angela Merkel steps down. January 14th, 2021. Dutch government weighs possible resignation even as it battles surging pandemic. January 14th, 2021. Estonia's PM resigns. January 13th, 2021. Italy government on verge of collapse. 13 September 2020, Libya's eastern-based government resigns. Lebanon's government resigns, got that. Kuwait government ministers resign en masse. It's from December 1st. Oh, it says 12/01/2021. I don't know what that is. And that's it. There you go, just a few examples. Preparing the way for the AC, perhaps, when I see stuff like that. Remember, there was that story, it didn't last long, but I showed you the examples on some of my KJ shows that a lot of the Twitter logos had changed to black and white from a lot of the world leaders. This happened within the last couple months, and then it changed back, I think. But there for like 24 hours or so, everyone changed their logos to black and white. And I have another example of something like that here in a little bit.
Question. Can you tell us?
I just thought I threw this in for fun. This is from Saved by Grace 0909. What are aliens? Do they exist? From John Todd. John Todd's a really interesting one. Most of us have probably listened to everything he ever put out, but Illuminati Defector explaining aliens.
About UFOs. My sister, before my wife came around, used to be leader of the state of Ohio, the high priestess there of the whole state. And her little pastime was calling up, supposedly filling the sky with UFOs and watching everybody's excitement. And some of the most outstanding sightings were in the early 70s in Ohio. And she used to laugh about it because she'd be standing in a circle out in the field somewhere calling up demons. And that's all they were angels of light playing games in the sky. Remember, a demon, get the little spooky picture. They're a fallen angel, an unclean spirit. They can assume any form or go into anything except a Christian who walks in the spirit all the time. Know any? You know, or in other words, a Christian who keeps it under the blood and so on. But they can assume forms, including spacemen or solid objects like flying saucers or so on. That's why when they appear on the radar scope and a jet gets up there, they vanish right in front of the palace eye because they're nothing but a spirit.
I'll read this real quick. John Todd in the early 1970s began to speak at different churches in America. What he had to say was astounding. He announced that he was a former member of a secret and powerful organization called the Illuminati and that he left it after being saved by Jesus. He made several audio tapes warning people of the evil plans of the Illuminati before he was framed, imprisoned, drugged, and sent to a mental hospital by agents of the Illuminati in order to keep him quiet. Today, no one knows for sure what has become of John Todd. But his information is information I agree with and I've been putting out for many years myself. Just putting this one out there. A lot of people probably talked about this, I know, and it actually was nice to see this made mainstream. I mean, I saw this all over the place. All kinds of people noticed during the it's not really an inauguration, as it was more of a embedding. I don't know what word I would place, a placement. But during the placement ceremony for this NWO government coming in, we have the obvious Hunger Games comparison with Lady Gaga out there. One of the, she's been a tool they've used, the system has used for a long time. Especially, it started off bankrupting the youth, corrupting the youth, making Satanism and those kinds of symbols cool, right? But she's definitely a tool to be used. And here she is with her Hunger Games insignia. Most of us get that that's really what that was about. It's not the dove with peace. All right. Got it. Another UFO one here. You can now easily download all CIA UFO documents to date. The CIA has unlisted everything, and this just happened January 11th. So just over a week and a half ago or so, the CIA did a full-on dump, and you can go find all the information you want on UFOs. Well, they say all the information they have, but they are releasing a lot of information. The Black Vault has released hundreds of public PDFs containing CIA information on UFOs. So disclosure, right? Soft disclosure. Eyes to the skies. Here's another one I was going to share about. This is the new CIA logo. The story is it's being brutally mocked, but it went to black and white, just like all the other logos at one point did. But this is a permanent change. And notice how they took out United States of America. So it's all just black, white, CIA. CIA is total. There's a movie, I think, called The Good Shepherd. You should check that out. It's all about CIA, all about how they're all Freemasons. It's totally Freemason-run organization. But now they're to the black and white. And that makes me think more of like a kind of setting up for the AC type system. There you go. Here's what I was going to show you. Oprah gave poet Amanda Gorman 22 earrings and a caged bird ring to wear on Inauguration Day. Let's see if I can see the picture of the ring. You see it on her hand there. It's huge. Too bad I can't get a close-up of that ring, though. I'd like to see a closer picture. But the reason I bring that up is the symbol. The caged bird goes back to this. Anyone who knows anything about MK Ultra, Illuminati MK Ultra, and the kind of symbolism there, knows that this is a big symbol for the mind control. It's about, what's the word? They break people down and then they segment them into different personalities. And this is part of it. They're kept like their different personalities are kept like in little cages in their minds. And that's why you see the symbolism constantly coming out of this beast system. And so many of these songbirds are under this kind of control. Pretty much every single big pop star over the last several years has done a video where they're trapped inside this cage. A lot of times the cages will have the butterflies around them as well. And it's another major MK Ultra symbol. Mind control. Right. So there you go. Interesting that that's the kind of ring Oprah gave this young lady who was speaking at the embedding, is that the word? Placement? The placement ceremony. This is from Tamara Desiree Magdalene, the Lioness of the Yeshua YouTube channel. I couldn't find this anywhere else. I'm glad she saved it. Because I've tried to find this recently. I had remembered it and I wanted to show you guys this. And I just had a heck of a time finding. I put Netflix praise Satan in searches and just couldn't find crap on it. And I remember when it first came out, it was all over the place. So again, maybe they're cleaning this up too. Maybe Netflix has their people online cleaning this one up. I don't know. But I'm glad that you still have it. It's only 34 seconds long, but from a Zoes generator, I'm not sure what that is. It says Netflix. Okay, I gave it some zazz. Your turn. So I don't know what this generator thing is, but somehow it's associated with Netflix. And I just thought it was interesting. They're showing this right here. But it's so obvious, and we get it. It's obvious, but that really is the time we're in, and they're making it more obvious. That's why I appreciate stuff like this, information like this. They're making it much more obvious. You can see this is on official Netflix up there, right? Your logo up there, got the little blue check mark. What's interesting is I just noticed this, but if you watch, and this is okay, I just noticed this. Check this out. Watch praise Satan as it comes in, and the R is the last letter to come in purposefully, I believe, because it's raise Satan, right? Watch, you'll see what I mean. Watch the R on praise Satan. See, raise Satan. That's what that is. Another slow raise Satan. Just caught that. That's how these little jerks work. There's the Viking story. Where you got that. Netflix. I was looking for that. Couldn't find it. The Stand. CBS. I'm watching it. I'm liking it. It's I like it better than the last version they did many years ago on TV. The Stand. But I just thought it's interesting that the only thing I don't like about it is Whoopi Goldberg's in it. I just don't like that lady. I don't like her. I just try to look past that as much as I can. But I do like the story has been pretty interesting. It's a Stephen King novel, of course. But it's all about the end of the world and the two halves. Everyone has literally been put into one camp or the other in this apocalypse, in this end of the world scene in The Stand. You're either with the good guys or you're with the devil. That's it. And one group's in Denver and the other one's in Vegas. And it's the stand. It's the great stand, the end. Of course, they have the cross there as the symbol. But interesting, this TV show's out there mirroring what's going on. But of course, in a Hollywood kind of way, right? In a fantastical kind of way. It really is happening in our world, behind the scenes and in front of our face. Some of it's in front of our face. This NWO type takeover and this AC beast system manifesting more and more. But then we get the TV version. And I think that, of course, in a way that dumbs some people down to these kinds of things. You try to, man, it's the end of the world. But yeah, right, dude. I saw that on the stand. I'm watching it too. I hate Whoopi Goldberg though, but so it's a real thing happening, being mirrored in entertainment. And this is what happens all the time. The monoliths, why are these strange monuments appearing around the world? The original one I believe was real. And I'm sure they did rituals out there in the middle of the desert, because just what other purpose is there to have something like that out there? And these monoliths are associated with the occult and all kinds of rituals. And it's also a symbol of enlightenment of the age. I think it's interesting that it happened around the time we've literally come into the age of Aquarius. I feel like it's all connected. And a lot of people were just making these monuments, and as time went on, but that doesn't discount the idea, if you look at it, in the fact that they're being made and mass produced, and they're being shown and found all over the world from people. It's a part of that awakening. I think it's a physical manifestation of that awakening to the age of Aquarius, or the age of the Antichrist. And that's why that became a story and started coming out more and more, in my opinion. That group, something Anon, bears striking resemblance to JOO-ish Bolshevik psyop from 1920s known as Operation Trust. I've covered that in a past show, just putting that out there. The Bolsheviks' Occult War. This is on espionagehistoryarchive.com. Highly recommend you check this out. Okay. I may do a big video on this, actually, because there's a lot of information here, but it all ties back into the occult and Satanism, all of it. And we're witnessing a Bolshevik revolution, a Bolshevik-ish revolution in America now. And it's the core of it is also Satanism, Luciferianism. So Bolsheviks' Occult War, I'll probably do a bigger video on that. In fact, let me save it again. There we go. Hidden History of the Rothschild Khazarian Mafia. I'm going to add information into that bigger video with this. I'm just giving you some reading material if you're interested. This is on politicalvelcraft.org. And on this, there's also the ties back into Satanism and everything else, the occult, the Khazarian Mafia. And that's the Oprah story. And that's it, man. Wow, look at that. We finished in a clean hour. How about that, man? We did pretty good. So I'm going to jump over here real quick to the chat and just say hi to you guys and say thank you for being here. Hope you enjoyed it. It was a short show, I know, but hey, we did a show together. And I think it was cool sharing this with you guys, and gives you some things to think about as we're on this road to the one world order here in 2021. I'll be doing my shows. I'll be staying on top of it myself. We'll be watching as everything unfolds. I'm always working on videos and waiting on things to happen to create new videos, but there's plenty of stuff happening right now and coming in. So just thank you for your support. Thank you for your prayers. And also, hey, I just saw Hidden Underbelly here. Good to see you, man. And also, thanks for being here, man. You guys. I'm just going to jump in and say hello. Hi, everybody. So many people. I don't know who to mention. J Ma, Kyle Anon, Faith Farah, Duranda, John Hawkins, Jacqueline Milowski, Victoria Dondo. Guys, thank you. All of you, man. Thanks for being here. You know what? I'll do a live show soon, like maybe within the week, where we just hang out and chat like this. That could be cool. I've done that before, and just kind of ask me anything. You guys bring up the subjects or share information, and we'll just have a chat. Okay, we'll do a talk. So until then, you guys have a good one. I'll have another show in a few days, and of course, more videos on the way, either on YouTube or off. I'll let you know one way or the other. Check any of my links below. I've got my Discord down there, Patreon, PayPal as well, and emergency food supplies if you're interested in that. And that's it. And Thescariestmovieever.tv if you want to check that out. Okay, I'm rambling enough. Guys, I love you. I appreciate you being here. Let me end this real quick with a prayer and just say, Heavenly Father, thanks so much once again for this time to spend with our friends here. And all of us are able to look into these things happening here in the world, keeping you at the core of it all, of course. And help us to maintain that, Father, please, and to not fall too far off course, and always keep you at number one in our eyes, in our minds, in our hearts. And thank you for being with us all, Lord. I know that's crazy times, but we know that you're with us, and you'll keep us strong and at peace through all this, and clear. Help to please keep us clear and provide us wisdom in these times. And thank you. On that note, I love you, and in Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Okay, guys, you're awesome. Have a wonderful rest of your day, rest of your week, and I'll be back on Friday, if not sooner, with a video. Thanks again, moderators, as well. Okay, take care, guys. Bye-bye.